Hello and welcome to season 4 of Travel Stories with Moush. So if you love the world around you and you love exploring different landscapes, cultures, cuisines and cities, then you are in the right place because in every episode of the podcast, I'll be talking to an incredible travel enthusiast who will take us on a fascinating journey around the world by sharing their travel stories. Before we jump onto today's episode, I just want to take a quick moment to say a huge thank you to all our audience who have supported us throughout. But there is also a huge number of you out there who listen to our podcast or watch it on YouTube, but who have not subscribed yet. So may I please request you to hit on that subscribe button because it really helps us to continue doing what we are doing and bring you these incredible travel stories from around the globe. Welcome once again to season 4 of Travel Stories with Moush, everyone. On today's episode, we're joined by a true visionary in the hospitality and tourism industry, Haitham Mattar. From shaping Ras Al Khaimah as one of the top tourism destinations in the world, to being a key player in the Saudi tourism boom, to being on the advisory board of the United Nations World Tourism Organization and now publishing his first book on hospitality, Haitham has always been on the forefront of tourism and hospitality. Currently, as the CEO of IHG in the Middle East, Africa and West Asia, he joins us on the podcast to bring his valuable insights on the future of travel, sustainable tourism and hospitality by sharing his incredible travel stories around the globe. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today and welcome to our studios, Haitham.
Thank you, Moush. I'm humbled by your introduction.
Well, you have done so many things and I don't know where to begin. So I thought, what would be really pertinent at this point in time is to talk about Dubai as a city where both you and I reside and how tourism has been growing in this city. It's completely revolutionized the way we see, travel in today's world, luxury travel in today's world. But something very important is also there in the travel world today, which is over-tourism. And Dubai has recently announced the rise of hotel rooms by about 7% in this current year and going forward. Do you think, considering all of this, over-tourism is something that we will need to worry in the city?
I've been in the city for a good part of 25 years, and I've seen the evolution, and I can tell you Dubai continues to evolve. There was always this speculation as why are they building more rooms? Who's coming here, right? And sure enough, the tourism board has proved us all wrong because they always had a great supply-demand strategy. So whilst they were licensing hotels to open, they were at the same time making sure that they were opening new markets, in collaboration with Emirates. I think Dubai is too big to fail.
And I love that what you said is Dubai is too big to fail. So we'll just wait and watch and see how we build it from here, you know. So now, to begin my very first question of the podcast and to go on the stories with you, where will you be taking us on a journey today?
One of the experiences I had, which just continues to resonate with me every time I think about, the different journeys I've had. And I can tell you, I almost traveled the world, through my career and through my holidays, what have you, and where business has taken me. The one place that really sort of had an impact on me, and I still remember it vividly, is right what I call the endemic. So towards the end of the pandemic, Saudi Arabia had launched the first ever cruise ship to sail in the Red Sea, the Saudi Arabia Red Sea. And I was one of those few fortunate people to join His Excellency the Minister and other colleagues. I was with the ministry then, to be one of the first to experience this beautiful journey. It was a 4-day journey, and it was the first time that a cruise ship ever sails in the Red Sea. So these and we set foot on some really untouched beaches, like the island of Sindalah, for example, right, where I saw shells this size. The shells that were just perfect, the ones that you find in shops, for example, that you think they're just crafted so perfectly, flawless. And the clear waters, the beautiful, colorful corals that you could see up close, not even needing goggles to dive with or to snorkel with. And that journey took us all the way to the Gulf of Aqaba. And then on the way back, you could feel and sense history, because we passed a mountain which is called the Wadi of Disa. It is said this is where Moses had sort of struck his stick and split the sea. So these are the sort of experiences that and the serenity that you had, and the peaceful serenity that you had during this journey is absolutely unforgettable for me.
And this is what I think people are looking forward to in today's world, right? So everyone's kind of so tired of going to a city. Everyone's looking for these experiential journeys. So, when you went on this cruise, I mean, what really struck you? Because also Saudi Arabia, there's so much more to Saudi Arabia that needs to be discovered, and it's a story has just begun.
Yes.
So what is it that struck you really so deeply and resonated with you, and you came and it was a wow moment for you?
Well, just the fact that I was one of the few to sail in that water. And I was thinking, wow, we are the first people to be on this journey. No one else has been on a cruise ship this size through the Red Sea in that location. So many thoughts go through your mind, and when you just look out at how beautiful this sea is, and when you think about how wide it is and how deep it is, and because when you think about the Red Sea, you think it's a small sea, and it's not. Absolutely not.
No, that's fascinating. I think you've enticed us enough to go on a cruise on the Red Sea. But, now coming back to you and your background, of course, you're of Lebanese descent, you studied and worked in the United States, and obviously you've moved around the world. But, if you had to look back, and you thought that if there is a particular place that had a deep impact in your life and shaped you to be the person you are today, which place would that be?
I was born in Lebanon, and we migrated to the U.S. when I was a child. I was 5 years old. But Lebanon still has an impact on me as a person, even as a tourist or as a traveler. It's a beautiful, country with stunning beaches along the Mediterranean, and with historic villages in the mountains, and some overlooking the sea. But also, what I love is that the history. One of the first cities in the world, Byblos, which still exists and is inhabited by people today, and has churches that are still in commission today. They still operate. Is fascinating to me. Going and finding coins in Byblos that date back to 5,000 plus years is phenomenal. I also feel just walking the streets of Beirut, the city, the buzz, connecting with the locals, and the culture is so strong. And what's really mind-boggling about the Lebanese culture is when you are in Beirut, for example, and you experience expatriate Asian employees, for example, whether they're from India or the Philippines or whatever, they speak Lebanese. And they speak perfect Lebanese.
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the few nations where you find these nationalities working and actually embracing the culture and being embraced by that culture as well. So that's the things that the things I love. And what I love again about Beirut is the gastronomy. So that's what really have left a deep impact on me.
Yeah, and shaped you to be the
And
person
shaped me
you're
the
today.
person to be. Yeah, yes.
Okay. No, that's. I'm so glad you said Lebanon, because I always say that you don't really know Lebanon or about Lebanon until you actually visit. And I actually have been to Byblos, and I thought it was a fascinating journey.
Oh, wow.
Just exploring even the ruins,
Yes.
and what that place has to offer. It's just incredible, and the resilience of the people. And food is another, I think, big highlight
Yes.
in Lebanon.
But you know what, Moush, I think that the beauty of every country is the people. I say the most beautiful thing about Lebanon are the people, but equally when I go to India, I say the most beautiful thing about India are the Indians. And when I go to Jordan, the most beautiful thing about Jordan is the Jordanians, because it's true. It's the culture is driven by the people, right? So connecting with people and learning the culture and their heritage has become one of the top
Correct.
3, not top 5 or 10, one of the top 3 motivators of travel.
Yeah, and the inclusivity.
And
you know,
exclusivity.
It has
Inclusivity,
become a big topic again, but that's a whole different discussion altogether. Let's talk about your book.
Absolutely.
You know, Pots, Pans, and 5-Year Plans: My Journey from a Dishwasher to CEO.
Yes.
You know, of course, it's your journey in hospitality over the years, and we won't dive into everything that is there in the book because we want people to read the book. But if you had to, pick one reason as to why people should read the book, especially all the hospitality enthusiasts out there, what would you say? Why do you think people should read the book?
Look, the key messages in the book are about grit, resilience, hard work, is what's really needed in the hospitality industry today. And it has forever. The book is not just my story. It's actually a blueprint for those who aspire to be me or to be better than me. Of course, it comes with challenges, but you've got to have that resilience.
So now, from hospitality to destination management, of course, you have been one of the key players in positioning Ras Al Khaimah as a top tourism destination, from establishing the longest zip line in the world to, again, positioning Ras Al Khaimah as a top adventure hub, in the region. But, if you were to pick another place around the region, because there are many places in this region which are highly underrated, which is that one place you would pick and build it up?
I think I would say Oman. Mm-hmm. Oman has such a deep-rooted culture. Mm-hmm. It's a deep-rooted Bedouin culture that they have, but also it has a beautiful natural terrain with desert, mountain, and beautiful beaches. They have absolutely clear waters for diving, and the Omani food is outrageously gorgeous. And the Omanis themselves, they're just beautiful people who are so proud of their country. Mm-hmm. I think today it's still an underrated destination. It has a wide offering of not just outdoor and adventure. That's one part of it, but beach, sun, and sand, which is the top motivator for travel. It's absolutely a gorgeous country, and I think Oman has a great potential to pick that tourism agenda back up and resurrect their tourism strategy and drive demand from the key markets that were sort of the Germans and the UK and in general European markets that frequented travel to Oman.
So you think Oman is that one destination you would love to build up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Oman is an interesting pick because it does have so much that it offers, and I think it would be fascinating to see how Oman grows and develops all of these areas, in the near future. Now, let's also talk about Saudi Arabia. You have been very closely associated with the growth of Saudi tourism. And Saudi is everywhere right now. Everybody's talking about the various places that there is in Saudi and all the different offerings that there are. So what really excites you, as Saudi developing as, a future tourism hub in the world?
I think, look, it really excites me that Saudi has opened its doors and its heart to the world to start showcasing not just the historical sites and the historical assets, but the natural beauty that many, if not so, all do not know about Saudi. Saudi has the largest olive farm in the world in Al Jouf. You probably don't know that, Saudi has the largest date farm in the world, and it's a UNESCO site. Saudi has one of the highest peak in the region, in Al Suda, which is a beautiful green mountain with beautiful fern trees. And Saudi has snowfall, Jabal Al Jawz, the Al Jawz mountain. And Saudi has beautiful beaches as well. It's a really rich,
fascinating
country in terms of landscape and natural beauty. But also it has such a strong culture. The Saudis are known for their, I don't want to say generosity, but extreme generosity. Yeah, there's a poet that dates back to probably the 7th century. His name is Haitham Mattar. This poet was known for his extreme generosity. And he comes from a village called Hail. And in Hail today, if you were to visit, you will find that the homes have no front door. Not that the front door is open, there's no front door. it is supposed to be welcoming.
Everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome. So when you walk into these front doors, even a foreign person or a stranger, you're welcomed with tea, coffee, dates, fruits, and there's no question about your whereabouts or what you're trying to do. What really is exciting as well, the fact that the Saudis have opened their doors to the world, but they really kept preserving their culture and heritage. That's so important.
No, I mean, it's very interesting, especially the story about hospitality that you said almost reminds me about the Indian hospitality,
Yes.
which as an Indian, sometimes it's to the point of annoyance, you know. But, the things we learn when we travel and go to places, and I think Saudi is going to be that star in this part of the region where, especially after opening up, I think it's really attractive to go there, and the future of Saudi really looks very promising, as we all know. Let's now also move in and talk about hospitality. Let's talk about sustainability.
Sustainability, yes.
Which is a big word in the world today, almost a buzzword. We talk about it a lot, and it's like, what are we doing really? You are, of course, on the advisory board of the United Nations World Tourism Organization. You also work on sustainable tourism, but you're a hotelier at the end of the day, so it's kind of balancing too many things. And I find it contradicting also, because as a hotelier, I'm sure you face a lot of challenges, in trying to be sustainable in the hotels that you represent. So how do you balance all of this? How do you think hotels can contribute towards this whole sustainability that we're talking about these days?
That's very well said. And like you said, look, sustainability is a buzzword, and I hope it doesn't remain a buzzword, because sustainability requires some clear actions to execute on sustainable practices. There's some confusion in some parts where they mix sustainability with green tourism or ecotourism. That's just one component. If you think about hospitality in general and tourism, I believe research has shown that we are responsible for about 10% of the overall global carbon emission.
Wow.
And that's quite huge.
That's huge.
Absolutely. But if you think, let's take hotels aside for a minute. People who stay in hotels, you use your towel once and you want it washed again. Your bed sheets, you want them washed every day. Now, if you're at home, you probably use that 3-4 times maybe. Your bed sheets maybe get changed every 4 or 5 days, so it's not every day. Also, we tend to be a bit more excessive with food. You go out to the buffet, you fill up that plate, you may not finish it. You may want to sample stuff, but then you're not thinking that where's the rest going? So the hotels have a great responsibility to first educate guests, because the guests have to be responsible to take part. So, of course, look, the hotels went to find solutions such as in-room management systems. So if you're not in the room, everything switches off, AC temperature rises and goes down to low fan. So you start to conserve energy until you're back in the room and your settings get back on. The hotel managers and the hospitality industry can only do so much. You can apply practices, but if you keep going to the buffet, throwing it, I can't control it.
Yes. No, it's responsibility at the end of the day, right? And it's not just from the hotel's point of view. It is also about on the travelers. So
yes.
when I stay in a hotel for 3 days, I just don't ask them to change my sheet on the second day, because like you said, we don't do that at home.
Yes, you're right.
It's a responsibility at the end of the day. But also, I think how we work together as travelers and hoteliers, like my pet peeve is a hotel buffet.
Yes.
But that's just me.
Same as me.
That's just me.
Yeah.
But I think it's work in progress. It's something that we all have to work together hand in hand, and then see if there is a future for our next generations, so to speak. Now, again, staying on sustainability, we know Costa Rica is kind of leading the way as far as, sustainability is concerned. But in your opinion and in your experience, which is that one place or property that you think has, effectively contributed to sustainability?
One of the destinations that resonates with me is the island of Palao. It's an island nation of the Pacific. I had the pleasure of meeting the first lady of the island of Palao during one of the conferences at UNWTO. And she spoke about the pledge of Palao, which I thought was extremely interesting and responsible. So the pledge of Palao is when you, as a tourist, apply for a visa, you have to pledge that you will not harm wildlife, you will not use plastic, you will not litter. So they make you responsible before you even arrive to the island, right? You become aware and responsible. Now, why do they do that? The island of Palau is an island of fishermen. The president of Palau was elected by the other fishermen, and he is also a fisherman. So he became the president. Now, they are only 50,000 people. However, they have about 500,000 visitors a year. And they thought 50,000 people cannot police 500,000 people. So they thought, let's make them responsible. Let's make the tourists contribute by being responsible, by pledging that when they come here, they don't harm our wildlife, they don't litter, and they don't use plastic. Very simple. Very simple.
That's fantastic and so smart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the island of Palau.
The island of Palau, which I aim to visit someday in my lifetime.
That's incredible. And I love the whole concept of a pledge.
Yes.
So if you're not interested in supporting and conserving our environment, then don't come.
Absolutely.
And that I think should apply to all of us in every place. And if we
You're
all
right.
do that, I mean, we just have a better world to live
You're
in.
right.
And also now, of course, you have, traveled extensively over the world, around the world. So, if you had to kind of talk about a few destinations that you think are highly underrated, and if you had to possibly pick one destination that everyone must visit once in their lifetime, which one would that be?
Moush, I'd have to go back to Saudi Arabia, and that would be Alola. In the similar way that the Red Sea cruise had left an impact on me, in the similar way that Lebanon has had an impact on me and shaped me as a person, Alola had a similar impact. Alola is just a beautiful outdoor museum with tombs that are crafted in the mountains, and it just takes you back to think that Nabatean era. There's some really peaceful serenity in Alola. You've got clear skies. You've got very, if none, light pollution. So at night you see an absolute mirage of stars. It's just like
almost astrotourism.
Absolutely, it's astrotourism at its best. It's like a chandelier in the sky. It is so gorgeous, and you see those twinkling stars. When you're in the sort of dark spots. It is absolutely beautiful. And when you see all this rock formation, apart from the carvings on the mountains, which is referred to as Madain Saleh, it's got a deep story in history, especially in Islam. It just really is mind-boggling how humans were capable of doing, things like that so many years ago. But then I would recommend, if somebody goes to Alola, they should combine that with Petra, because Petra is sort of Alola's little sister, if you like. Yeah.
It's a lot of history there.
There is, absolutely.
Yeah. So you definitely think that, Alola combined with Petra are definitely two places that one must definitely visit once in their lifetime.
Once in their lifetime,
at least.
Sure, at least.
Now, of course, there we have Alola, which is highly, highly recommended by you. But there are destinations around the world which are very underrated, and the travel world has not given them the importance or the limelight that they so deserve. So if you had to, talk about a few destinations or one destination that you think are highly underrated, which ones would you pick?
How about I tell you about a special place that I think people should visit, and that would be and I'm biased, of course, because it's one of our hotels, but the Six Senses Ziggy Bay. It's just got this beautiful setting with mountains around it, and it's just got this beautiful beachfront. You can do anything from spa to experiencing authentic Omani food, but also for those who love a bit of adrenaline, you can do paragliding. It's uber luxury, but it's the experiences that you gain, and it's the peace and serenity that you have in staying in these Six Senses, and especially Ziggy Bay.
I agree with Ziggy Bay. I think it's a fabulous, fabulous property, and everything about sustainability. It's like tick marks, everything. Absolutely. As far as sustainability is concerned,
Absolutely.
So it's almost, one little corner of this part of the world, but it doesn't make any noise. But if you know, you know.
Absolutely. If you know, you know. I like that.
So now let's talk about a hidden gem that you would perhaps want to tell us on the podcast today.
I take us away to Asia. and maybe to a place that I really love visiting, and that's India. And might not be a hidden gem for many who have visited the Taj Mahal, which I have experienced, and it was just a phenomenal experience. Touring the Taj Mahal and listening to the story and the purpose and the reason and the objective and the love of a man who wanted to build this as a place of memory for his loved one is absolutely incredible. That you think, a person could hold so much love for someone, right? But just right close to that, where not many people actually visit, is the Fort of Agra. And the Fort of Agra is another special place for me. It's just fascinating. But staying in India, one of the most beautiful places I visited, and it's still a hidden gem, I don't think many people know about it, it's called Barawara, and it's in Jaipur.
Okay.
So if you fly to Jaipur Airport, Rajasthan, and you take a drive about 2.5 hours from Jaipur, you'll arrive at the Six Senses Barawara. Barawara is a fort that was built around the 13th century by what was then the king of Rajasthan. And it was a hunting fort. It sits in a forest, but also right next to it is a beautiful village and a mountain for worshippers who hike all the way to the top of the mountain to see Lord Shiva and give their offerings and get the blessings. Now, when you drive to Barawara, you're going to drive through places where people are less fortunate. You're going to see every mode of transportation, from donkeys to cows to bicycles to motorcycles to cars to trucks, you name it. You're going to go across that.
So it's this whole experience.
Of going through some underprivileged villages of people who live in these villages, and then you arrive at this Six Senses of ultra luxury, and you have people from the village working in this hotel.
But I really like this about Six Senses almost everywhere in the world. That's pretty much the philosophy,
the story,
right?
Absolutely, it's the story.
Yeah.
And that place just is so special to me that I just want to continue to go back. The way they built the hotel is not an eyesore from the fortress. They sort of blended that in, so it doesn't really take away from the authenticity and the grandiose and the history of this place. There's a temple that still operates. There's a beautiful spa, and the food is absolutely beautiful. It's farm to table. I actually, most Muslims would not do that, but I wanted to experience that. I went up to the mountain and I went into the temple, and I saw what worshippers are practicing, because I'm curious. And I loved how everybody some people had no legs, but they were just using their hands to climb up this mountain. And it's a big hike. It's
a pilgrimage.
It's a pilgrimage. It's a long hike. And they had their offerings hanging in their necks to take it up to the Lord. There's so much beauty in these escapes. And if you really want to just be off the beaten track, do something that will probably be tattooed in your mind forever. That would be something.
Haitham, I have to say that's a beautiful, beautiful story and a beautiful hidden gem that you just gave us today on the podcast. And, like you said, it's the travel story. It's how you grow as a human being, right? Whether you are going to a place of worship that probably doesn't resonate with you as far as your religion is concerned, but it's about how that instills these values in you and how it makes you grow as a person.
Absolutely.
And giving back to the world in whatever way or form you can.
Absolutely.
And also with the Six Senses, I think all the Six Senses, and especially this one in Barawara that you spoke about, and again, with all the Six Senses, it's such a great story about conservation. It's such a great story about giving back to community and community building. But the conservation practices that they have and all the other things that they do, with the ecosystem, I think are, stories that need to be told and heard and told in a wider platform,
Totally.
Now, we went on these beautiful journeys with you. What's next on your bucket list? What's next in travel for you?
Well, look, I've been probably across the world the only one place that's still on my bucket list that I haven't done is Japan. But Japan is a country that fascinates me. The culture, the food, the respect. It's one of those, and the nature. I mean, the nature is, as well. It's one of those places that I really, really look forward to visiting.
Well, I mean, all I have to say is Japan is beautiful, and it's endless. I mean, the people are so nice, and you will absolutely love going there, and I wish you all the best.
I look forward to it.
I hope you get to go there very, very soon. And thank you. We've come to the end of the podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. All your travel stories are incredible.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to reading your book. And I wish you all the best. And thank you once again for
Thank
joining
you.
us
It was
on
my
this
pleasure.
episode.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I hope our conversations have fueled your wanderlust and inspired you to explore the world in new and exciting ways. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until the next time, safe travels and happy adventuring.